Hello and welcome back to the Community HOPEcast. I'm your host for today, Jane, and today we're bringing you another episode of Spill the Tea. Today I'm joined by some new faces. Shall we introduce ourselves?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. It's Koi, your summer school activity coordinator.
And I am Vicky. I am one of the teachers at Hope Summer School.
All right. Koi has been on the podcast with us before. Vicky, a new face, but a familiar face around our office. Lovely to see you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, today on our episode of Spill the Tea. So, how many languages do you guys know?
Languages? Like
Foreign language or...
Foreign language? Love language is today's topic.
Oh, okay. I know a couple of them.
Yeah, some.
Love languages. To begin prefacing about our topic, if you have not heard of or are unfamiliar with the idea of love languages is an idea that started in psychology, right? It describes the unique ways that people express love to one another. And, you know, some of the classics, this theory started in 5 different love languages, which are acts of service, gift giving, physical touch, quality time, and words of affirmation. And if you do a little bit of reading, some have expanded on this idea of love languages to 7 tenets, which are activity, appreciation, emotional love, financial, intellectual, physical, and practical. And we can get into the explanation of each one as we kind of like have it crop up in conversation. But to begin with, do we want to preface what we, or perhaps our experience and our credibility on why we're talking about this topic today?
Yes. So Koi and I have been in a relationship for close to 7 years.
We're coming into 7 now.
We're coming into 7 years. We're still going strong.
7. We had a relationship related Spill the Tea previously as well. When you say 7, we kind of defined or explained to the audience a little bit about time together, but also if you were friends, like how long that was. Is it 7 years together?
7 years to get, so close to 7 years. So our anniversary is 11/11/2017.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we met in September. Back then they started high school in September, not August.
Mm-hmm.
So we met in September of that year, and then we were friends, close friends, getting friendly for about 2-3 months.
Yes.
And then we went on our first date, and you asked me out, and the rest is history. And now it's the present.
Yep. And now here we are. We are here and now in living color. CM Punk quote. and anyways,
and I wanted to add on, we are in a relationship, and I know that both of us worked Hope Summer School last year.
Yeah.
And we would tell our students, just because it was our first year working, we've worked together before, actually.
we have.
Not the first time. But then because we worked with the high school population, we were able to like hide our relationship a little bit more.
And we were pretty good at it.
And we were very good at it.
Professional.
We were professional. And then last summer we were professional too. But because we were giving we were carpooling the whole time.
Right.
Kids would be like, well, why are you going home together? You know, or
Absolutely,
why?
yeah.
So we would be like, oh, we're cousins. We're just cousins. And mind you, I have the older kids too.
Right.
But I think all of them believed it.
Oh my God. Kids are so nosy sometimes.
They are. But
Absolutely.
yeah, we lied a lot.
We lied.
We lied. So we're dating. Sorry to any of the Hope students, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
Now we're here
whatever.
together.
Teachers have a life outside of their job as a teacher.
We do have a
Shocker.
life. We have a great life. We're gonna go to the zoo.
Yeah, we got the zoo coming. You just graduated with your master's.
I just graduated my master's and my teaching credential and my bilingual authorization.
That's
in
crazy.
Vietnamese.
In Vietnamese,
nuts.
no less.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want me as a teacher, please apply to Hope Summer School.
Absolutely.
We'll still be enrolling when this episode comes out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Great advertisement.
Anyway, so love languages. Couple been together for a while, right? I'm also in a relationship myself, which I've talked about in a previous episode. But, we defined what love language, love styles are. How about we share what our top 2 to 3 love languages to receive are?
To receive, I took notes. So definitely I know that my top 1 is acts of service, just because it's so nice when someone does something for you out of kindness or just lightening a load for you, for sure. And I researched love language. I did a little bit of research, and with love languages, it's known to be something you lacked as a child. Therefore, it's something you want to receive as an adult. Kind of
Interesting. Okay.
healing your inner child.
So that's where you think your number 1 acts of service love language comes from?
Oh, for sure. And Koi has a lot of acts of service. Let me tell everyone, Koi does all my car stuff, which is so nice.
Yeah.
You changed my alternator.
Oh, yeah.
You changed my oil.
What?
You've changed my belt.
What?
You've changed the tire on the freeway when my tire
wow.
popped. No, that's impressive, right?
Wait, like, were you guys together, or did you drive and have to find her on the freeway?
No.
No, we were together.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Yeah, a little story. We were going to Cal State Fullerton on the 57 freeway. We're on the carpool lane. I'm flying down in her car, and I just hear a pop, right? And then I just feel the back left going lower and lower, and I'm like, Vicky, I think we popped the tire. We got to get out of here. So we pull over to the right shoulder, and I just replaced the tire right there.
Yeah.
On the right shoulder, and we were able to get out of there smoothly. Unfortunately, we couldn't recover the tire, so that was a lot of money. But we got out of there, and I helped her out.
Yeah.
I was just with her. I didn't have to find her on the freeway. God forbid, I got to go find her on the freeway. It's tough, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now with the new love languages, acts of service would go along with practical.
Oh, practical.
Practical means that whatever your partner is doing, you do kind of like acts of service to help them out. And so they're similar. And those are my love languages. What's yours, Koi?
Right.
You had one. The love language, acts of service, practical, like that's kind of like the
That's
top
what I
number
like
one.
receiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have a third one by chance, or?
I mean, there's emotional and appreciation.
Right.
But with emotional, it's more like, because throughout my childhood, there's so much emotion. Like, my family's really emotional. So, not to say that I'm good on that, but I much rather prefer acts of service.
I get
Your
it,
number
yeah.
1 is like way up here, and maybe like 2 is a little farther away from the pack. Okay, yeah. Valid, great.
Yeah.
Koi?
Yeah. To caveat with like love languages, Vicky actually read the book that it was.
Oh my gosh, I did. I
You
did a
read
whole
the book.
speech on it.
I remembered that, and you were that book impacted you so much, or you learned a lot from it. And I was hearing how you talked about it, and you were listing out the love language, and then the first one you said was physical touch, and I'm like, oh, that's mine. That's mine. That is my, for me, it is my number 1. I'm not ashamed to admit, I just like hugs. I like being held. I'm a big guy, so and I just like the feeling of being held and being comforted. That skin to skin, or just sitting next to the person that you really love. Like, I like sitting next to Vicky. I would be so fine and comfortable spending the whole day just sitting next to her, staring at paint dry. You know, that's just.
But Jane's in the middle of us, so we can't sit
Yeah,
next to each
so-
other.
I mean, unobstructed view right here, so don't worry about it.
That is true.
Right. But did I lack that as a child? I can't remember. I don't want to say I didn't get hugged a lot as a child, because I mean, my grandparents hugged me.
I think, a lot of this can come from our childhood too, but, you said physical touch and stuff. Like, I would rank that up as one of my favorite love languages too. I think in our modern day, it's understandable because, a lot of our interactions don't have to be in person anymore. We can just message each other all the time over the phone. We can do video calls and stuff, but it feels different, right? We have so much of that in our everyday life now with modern technology that, yeah, I can understand why a lot of people would like physical touch or physical presence to be with their other person, So, yeah.
I get it. That's a really good point to that. But moving on to my second and third, they're about tied. But my second one would be activity. just sharing the same interest. Early on our relationship, and I'm a suspect to this too. Our interests were night and day. Vicky really enjoyed K-pop and a lot of Korean media.
Older Korean media. I'm a Korean.
Oh, what gen?
Oh, I am like Gen 2.
Ooh,
Hardcore
okay.
Gen 2. Super Junior. Girls' Generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and
And Koi doesn't know any of that.
I don't know any of that at the time, but now I know a little bit. Right, I can recognize a song, and Vicky just enjoys a lot of like your typical girly things, right? And I'm a guy. I like video games and
Yeah.
playing sports and like doing activities, just like going out and getting uncomfortable.
Sure, a little traditional, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. So early on, I would make fun of her interests, which was when you look back at it, that's kind of mean.
We've matured a lot.
Yeah,
We met.
and Vicky,
Just preface, we've met when he was 17.
I think I was 16.
We were 17. No,
A
you
lot
were
changes
17.
I
since
was
your
17,
your
okay.
teen
17.
years.
And I'm a little bit older than Koi. Even if he looks older.
It's the sun.
It's the sun. I wear sunscreen.
I don't.
Super goop. But yeah, I liked a lot of artsy stuff. I like graphic design. I like drawing. I liked makeup. And he liked going outside. He liked working out. At the time, usually, nowadays, a lot of high schoolers go to the gym.
They do.
But back then, not a lot of high schoolers went to the gym.
No.
Because we didn't have cars.
We didn't have cars. We didn't have a means of transportation. The gym memberships were always pretty expensive at
Feels
the time.
like people still
And
don't.
they required a parent signature, don't they?
Oh.
Because if you're under 18.
I think they still do.
Yeah.
But we just go to a gym with a different population.
Yeah,
You
let's
know
not
what I
say what gym we go to.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's far away from
So
here.
then, when did you guys kind of reconcile the differences in the activities you like to do?
I think it may have started with Vicky, but I can say when I started to do it, it was probably about 3.5 to 4 years in our relationship. When I made the initiative to like just go with her with everything. When Vicky says, "Hey, let's go here. I want to check this out," I'm not gonna throw a fit or like say something under my breath like, oh, "Why?"
Yeah.
I want to be with her. So if I wanted to be with her, I'd be willing to sit down and go to different areas that I might never find myself in if I wasn't with her.
Yeah.
And along with that, like around that time, I think we got really into reality TV shows. So I would watch a lot of shows that Vicky would like.
Okay.
Vicky would like it, and I would just follow along with it and react to things to it.
And talking about the things I would drag him to when you're younger. Like I like going to like the art markets and like exploring new cities. And as a high schooler, like male teenager, you didn't like going to art festivals as
admittedly
much. But now
not,
you
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And I used to not like going to the gym. But now I like it.
Okay.
So I think it's a maturing on both of our parts of like trying to explore new hobbies.
Yeah.
So
But I love, partners taking interest in what the other person is interested in too. Like,
I think the most recent example, particularly, is Amazon Prime Video came out with their new show Fallout. It's a video game series that I've played as a kid throughout high school.
Yeah.
Vicky has never heard of Fallout. She might have known a couple of actors and actresses in there, but she has no. She probably didn't even know it existed. So I'm like, hey, Vicky, you want to check out Fallout with me? Right, it's a mini series, right? And then we both sat down and watched it. I knew I'd probably be into it. I didn't know Vicky was going to be into it, but thankfully the show is like pretty good, and Vicky really enjoyed the show. So
Nice.
that's like something that satisfies my love language of activity, of her showing interest in that. And I got a whole bunch of examples, but we should move on.
Yeah.
I think a better
Did you have,
example
like, a-
is camping.
I was going to bring that up, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Our first camping trip, right? I took her to the Ringer. I took her to
like proper camping, no little nice cabin or anything.
No,
like proper
we're-
camping.
no. This is tent camping in Riverside.
Yeah, we went to Riverside because I wanted to go camping. That was the only thing open.
That was the only
Lake
spot.
Paris.
Lake Paris. It was the only spot that had reservations, and we picked a spot. There was like no one else that was there too. We walked around, and this is when I realized I have literally only been camping in the desert my whole life. I've never camped anywhere with like a lot of trees. And Vicky's idea of camping was tree hugging, sitting on your fire, right?
I feel like that was a valid.
It is.
That's also what I think of when I think of camping. And I don't camp much, but around here, I would think forest.
Yeah, for foliage. I
Foliage,
want to see
yeah.
foliage. I want to see
Yeah.
foliage.
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, and that's when I realized, oh my goodness, I've literally been camping in like deserts and
What
like,
view is there? What's there to enjoy in the desert? for
Nothing.
camping?
exactly nothing.
Just surviving?
No, it's
You're just literally outside.
yeah.
I mean, you might get the stars at night, but what else?
No,
is there?
we did not get started at night because we were in Riverside.
Oh,
We got smog, and it
Yeah.
was hot, and it was hot and raining. You
Yeah.
remember that?
I remember, and
Oh
then
my
so
gosh.
what a
I-
bonding experience.
I
Yeah,
know.
so oh my goodness. I thought, man, I really fumbled the bag with this one. She is never going camping with me ever again. But that's when I learned to, okay, Vicky's not gonna enjoy it if I camp the way I do, which is literally I can be fine without a tent and just sleep on the ground. So
Okay, maybe in the desert, yeah, but like
no, even still, like
in the forest
oh,
too.
I've got
with all the
a lot.
bugs.
I've got a lot of stories.
and potentially bears.
Yeah.
That's for a future hope.
Okay, anyway.
Disability. But anyways,
That's
like,
for a Memorial Day special.
okay, yeah,
Being Vietnamese in the military.
right. But essentially, I started tailoring how I would camp to help Vicky feel comfortable when we're out there,
Yeah.
right? So I should find places that have decent restrooms, right? Not
Yeah.
holes in the ground. I think I invested in an air mattress that I can pump up from my truck, right? I'm making sure that I bring proper cooking utensils so that we get actual food and not like things like made from the ground or things that I brought last minute. A lot of different things that I've done with the intention to help Vicky feel comfortable because
Yeah.
it's not something that Vicky grew up doing,
Yeah.
but it's something that she wants to do because it's something that I'm into.
Yeah, plus if you're like introducing someone to a new hobby or interest for the first time, you gotta transition them into it. You're at level 10, they're starting at level 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Koi's acts of service to me, which is doing all this stuff for me with camping.
So I
So,
feel like
yeah.
I'm so sorry for interrupting, but I just feel so fortunate that after Lake Paris, we did have a good time, but after Lake Paris, she wanted to go camping again, and our second experience has been a lot better. Where else have we
There's
camped?
trees. Let's gatekeep our second
Oh,
camping
oh,
space,
of
though.
course.
Sorry.
Definitely,
It
yeah,
was
no.
a nice place.
It
It,
was
has trees. It's in San Diego, but
Yeah, it was
that's all we're
great, yeah.
saying.
Okay.
And yeah, let's go move on to your other love languages.
Yeah. And then like
You had one more, you said.
I did have one more, and it's emotional, right? That's the love language, emotional. And I feel that growing up, I can relate to this being like something I lacked growing up. Personally, I didn't feel that I had an outlet to properly voice something that was troubling me inside, something that was bothering me inside. And a lot of it was either told by people that were older than me, like, oh, you just got to get through it. Or, maybe you shouldn't feel like this. You should probably suck it up. Or you should probably, keep your mouth closed and just keep going. I didn't have anyone to talk to pretty much. So growing up, a lot of that emotion, a lot of the coping strategies I used when I was going through tough times in my life, it was a lot of bottling in and a lot of dissociation, right? I wanted to, if I was feeling bad or having a hard time, I didn't want to put my burden on anyone else. So I would leave. I would, no crap, just like rot in my room and just kind of bottle in that emotion that way, and then probably find solace in like working out or running. Right?
We all come from Vietnamese family background here, so it's pretty familiar, that traditional, suck it up, swallow it down, your feelings.
Right. Yeah. And I was the oldest on both sides, so I literally had nobody to talk to. Even in like the different programs that I was involved in as a kid, I just didn't have anyone safe enough to talk to, and it wasn't until really I met Vicky, and the more we grew up together, and the more our relationship grew, is when I became more vocal about things that were bothering me. I mean, I feel that when I express the things that bother me, of course, I'm like, saying it from deep down, so it sounds very like when you hear it from the outside, like, oh, why are you complaining? But it's something that really does bother me, and And Vicky, she admittedly she might not have like the best solutions or even like an answer to it. It doesn't. And to me, I'm not looking for an answer. I think I just want to be heard.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be. Oh, can you? This is what's bothering me. I mean, I don't need it to be solved, but just understand that this is bothering me. Type things, and then maybe on the way, there will be a solution to it, or like, oh, have you considered trying this? And with that, talking to Vicky and kind of letting go of the emotional side of what bothers me or what makes me happy, I've been able to find other people in my life that I can safely kind of talk to about the problem, about things that bother me.
Yeah.
And that's what I find so valuable in the relationship that Vicky and I have, is that both of us are so safe with just letting out pent up emotions or things that bother us safely without the other one of us like saying like something negative that can impact our relationship. You know, that's that's what's so beautiful about it.
So you guys talked about your love languages, and was it difficult to identify what your preferred love language to receive was?
No,
I have a different answer.
not at all.
Okay, Vicky, you found it easier?
It was really easy to me, just because I know what I want. Koi could know I'm a pretty decisive person. Usually when we choose something, it's me making the decisions. So
Hey, we love a leader.
we like a leader.
Yeah.
We do. But what about you, Koi?
Admittedly, for myself, I knew what I wanted, but it took me a while to get what Vicky wanted. You know what I mean? Like I of course you know what you want, but then being able to deliver that to someone else, figuring out what they prefer, that it's something that took me a while to get. Right?
Because is your preferred love language to receive the same one you like to give? Or is the love language that you like to give like completely different?
It's completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different because it's been tailored to each other. I feel like if you ask a younger couple or someone else, totally different, they might have a different answer. They might like say like, oh, because I like physical touch, I feel like I give love best by being near and touching the other person. But Vicky and I have been together for so long that what I give to show love is tailored to her, and it probably wouldn't work for someone else.
So, for example, because my love language is acts of service, Koi gives me a lot of acts of service, such as helping around my house or helping with the car.
Yeah. Good point, though, because like I've heard people talk about, you know, in conversations, not directly explicitly saying love languages, right? But a lot of times if I hear couples who have a little bit of tension between them, a lot of times some of the dissatisfaction is that, you know, they're doing A, but I want them to be doing B and C, things like that. Yeah. So it's great that you've developed your relationship to a point where you are giving each other what it is that the other actually wants and not what you think or what your preference is, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You might call that from an outside perspective that I'm selfless and now or like a team player. And I think admittedly, like I do put the needs of the team, like in the work sense, like I put the needs of the team ahead of like what I want. But in the sense of Vicky and I, like I just love her. You know, I want us to grow. I want us to start something that we can both be like really proud of and take a lot of pride in, right? Early on, you could cut this off, but early on, I prided our relationship by bragging that like, oh, we've outlasted most of Vicky's friends' relationships. Now, as a guy, like I'm very prideful of that. You can cut that out if necessary, but
I think honestly, when you're younger, I do think that's kind of understandable, especially considering like you guys met when you were like in high school, like teenagers and stuff.
Yeah.
I also can sympathize or even empathize with that fact as well.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like that sense of pride and just like maybe it's a shallow thing to be prideful of?
Is it
when
yeah.
you're younger? But
Yeah. I mean, looking at also it's your friends too. It's not just my
Yeah,
friends.
it is my friends. Yeah, they're very guilty of that.
With my friends, some of them should not be with the person they should be in high school. So that was probably a
Well,
good
but
thing.
who are we to say?
But who are we to say?
Stay in our lane.
But I ended up being right because they ended up breaking up anyway. But with Koi, like I knew that Koi and I had something really special at a very young age. And I consider us very, very lucky to have found each other so young and be able to experience like a very lengthy relationship.
I think it's beautiful, especially if you are able to grow up,
Yeah.
alongside each other.
And near each other too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think some of the pushback, or I've heard people say, against relationships when you're young, people say like, oh, like if you're still together, like you haven't grown or anything. You're still the same people
Right.
you were back then. You're just kids or something. How much more mature could you have grown, being around like the same person for so long? And it's true, like change can be difficult, but to be able to change alongside each other, that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
We've grown a lot. Like, oh my gosh, we've been through the ringer these past like few years. Not in our relationship, but in our own lives.
Our own lives.
Like Koi went through boot camp. He got injured. So he had to stay there 3 months doubled. So it turned to 6 months. And then 6 months turned to 9 months with his training.
Yeah.
And so 9 months is basically a year. And so that was a year. Half that year was spent just writing each other letters back and forth.
Yeah.
Not even like talking on the phone or anything.
No.
Especially
And-
with so much going on in your lives, it takes a lot to be able to,
Yeah.
maintain a relationship throughout all that.
Yeah, and you've had a family death. I've had a family death that we both were there for each other.
Yeah.
We've had like several life changes. I think I had my nephew born, and you've also had your nephew born
I
as
did
well.
have a nephew born recently. Yeah.
Like job losses, health scare. You've had a lot of health scares.
I've had plenty of health scares.
Oh my God,
goodness.
we're like
Yeah.
in our 20s and health scares are now
Yeah.
a thing.
Which is funny because Koi's the healthiest person. You too. Like Koi's one of the healthiest people.
I would
know.
imagine at first glance, yeah, that's what I would assume.
Yeah, but it's not how long the relationship it is. It's like, have you been through obstacles together, and have you been through life together, which we've had.
That's a really beautiful way to really have that response to that counter argument of like, oh, have you really grown if you've been with the same person?
Yeah.
Forever? That can only be true if you've just done nothing together. You've
Yeah.
just in a way have been together and haven't really experienced life with each other. Vicky
Yeah.
and I have experienced life with each other. I can
Yeah.
say that I am a totally different man and Vicky's a totally different woman from when we were even 3 years ago.
Yeah. Now we're both graduated,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna hopefully get jobs and
And
still
Yeah,
start
plan for the
make
future.
money, you know,
finally get engaged.
get into the next step, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not that I need an engagement. It's just
Spoiler
we
alert.
need money first.
we need money.
We need
It's-
money
It's
first.
tough out there, man.
Dear goodness.
It is real
We
tough.
need money. A master's degree doesn't get you jobs. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I just got my bachelor's, you know.
So, and Koi's still in the military. He's
Yeah.
a sergeant now.
Mm-hmm.
Raw.
Raw.
I'm not.
Semper Fidelis.
Semper Fidelis. And yeah, we've grown a lot. Imagine the
Absolutely.
guy, the 17-year-old with like a broken wrist in
Yeah.
boot camp looking back at this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I would have never imagined being in where I am now. And I could credit a lot of that, my success as a person and my growth to Vicky. And then a lot of it, of course, through my other life experiences. There was something I wanted to add. I totally forgot, but you can really tell how a relationship will develop. And this is from my own observations too, but you really tell how a relationship will develop when that couple goes through an obstacle in life or goes through some sort of form of struggle, and what their response is, what their response together or how they treat each other as they're going through that response, right? Like, does the first response and going through an obstacle, like maybe it's a minor argument or like something going on, like you lost your job, are they trying to find ways to remedy that? Like, are they trying to find a new job, or are they trying to figure out through the struggles, right? If they are, that then they can grow with each other. That's growth right there. Being able to solve problems together, that's growth. But not being able to see things eye to eye, or being unable to respect the boundaries, or even like the request of your other partner, it's unfortunately doomed to fail. And if it's still going, somebody is not happy, right? And that's the success. That's one of the key successes between Vicky and I. But it did take a while for me to develop this, just being able to work together and find things and tackle things head on. So, like, for example, if I need to do something, and admittedly, I'm really forgetful, right? So many thoughts run through my head. I just like drop things, unfortunately. So Vicky, as a gift, got me a real nice leather bonded agenda that I've been writing in almost daily, or
have you seen it?
at most every other day.
No,
the one that has his name
I'm in
on
my
it.
corner in the back of the office.
Yes.
It's really nice. It's like letter bound. It has a name etched in letter. Yeah, it's really
Right.
nice.
And then right now, for instance, I'm looking to see what I'm going to do as a career further down in life. And Vicky's like already on like government jobs, or like different, like Indeed, probably like, oh, Koi, you should consider this, you should consider that.
That's kind of like acts of service, your favorite love language, giving it to him.
That is true. Yeah. You know what though? Would you say acts? What do I give you? I usually like giving gifts, or
You're really good at giving gifts.
no, I'm very good at gifts. I would just give you. Oh, you needed this. Well, I guess it's kind of like act of service.
If there's like a practical side to it, then yeah.
Because you don't have any clothes. Like if you notice, probably in some podcasts, he probably wears the same thing because that's all he wears. Go look at the other podcast and see if he's wearing the same thing.
Well, I've been only in one other podcast,
and I bet you're wearing the same thing.
I this is the first time I'm actually wearing jeans right now. Actually,
Yeah, I think I like tangible things. I wrote in my notes: tangible and evident things to show people that I care for them. So that's what I've done with you. That's what I do with my students. And that's what I do with my family as well. So,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah. With physical touch, I think I'm a shyer person. So it's a little bit, Koi understands, it's a little bit more difficult for me to.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be like
physical
touch, right? Like physical presence also counts too. If you find that valuable as well.
Yeah, that's why I noted earlier. I was like, I'm totally comfortable with just sitting next to each other on the couch watching TV.
Watching paint dry.
Just watching, just existing in the same plane as each other is enough for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's really sweet.
Can you guys recall an instance where you were shown like your preferred love language and it was like the most memorable instance or the most meaningful to you?
I think I already said it with the tires.
That
was so meaningful.
That was
to me.
also that also sounded like a very adrenaline filled like
yeah, it was adrenaline filled because we were younger too. Like I think I was 19.
I believe I was 21 or 20.
That's impossible because I
Oh,
have
you
to
were
be the
19. Okay,
older
I was
one.
the
18.
pandemic is a little fuzzy. Pandemic years gets a
Yeah.
little fuzzy, right? So,
Yeah.
And
It
we
does.
spent the pandemic together too,
Oh my
and that was
goodness.
hard, but we
Yeah.
did it. We
I
got
totally
COVID.
forgot about the pandemic.
And got
Man.
COVID together.
We did get COVID together.
Oh,
We went camping
man.
too. That's why we went camping because we got COVID.
We went camping because we got COVID. Oh my goodness, this is
Wait,
all like
as in
coming up.
like isolating yourselves
Yes,
in the
isolating.
forest? Why are you you're not the only people who have told me this.
Really?
Someone once told me, they were like, oh yeah, I'm in an RV camping right now to isolate. I'm like, what? That's
You had an RV.
RV. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we got COVID from a Marine event.
Oh.
And
Yeah. Nothing against the Marine
ahead.
Corps.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not a lot of Marines wash their hands, just so you know.
not a lot of
Okay.
kids wash their hands either.
Oh no,
And I
Marines
wasn't working
are-
with kids.
Marines are on the same level.
Okay, frankly, post-pandemic, I've noticed people, a shocking amount of them do not wash their hands. And I'm like, we just came out of a pandemic. What are you doing?
Some things never
Ugh.
change.
Something just
things
never
never change.
changed.
But anyway, your favorite, most memorable is still like the tire incident.
It's still the tire
Okay.
incident. I think also with my second love language of like emotional appreciation, we wrote each other letters for 6 months. And that was so sweet because you never get, again, a tangible thing of someone saying they love you and why they love you and what they would like to do when they're back. And I got that from Koya a lot, which I don't think a lot of male partners do. Really, just like write back and forth, and it would be full
Like
pages.
several
Several
Oh my
pages.
goodness.
Do you guys keep them in a little cute tin box?
I still have that.
Vicky
all
has
of
them all right now. We
Have
plan
photos.
to maybe frame it one day.
We'll get a house.
Yeah.
But we need jobs.
We need jabs.
What about you, Koi? Your favorite memory or the most meaningful instance?
Absolutely. One I've already explained. It's the camping one, right?
Oh, okay.
And how it was just so fun being with her and somewhere else, and how she now likes it. And I'm always looking up different places where we can start camping. But my second one is when
But he's so forgetful. He never.
I'm
signed
so
us up
forgetful,
for
I
them at
forget.
at the time.
yeah. Well, definitely the second one that rings to mind is when I was getting back into wrestling, like not like amateur wrestling, pro wrestling, WWE, right? I just remember we're watching a show on Peacock, and I turned up and I'm like, hey, the Royal Rumble is playing right now. So I watched the stream with Vicky, and Vicky sat with me. I'm like, and she was enjoying it too because it's fun. It's theatrics.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment, right? And then she's like, "Oh, this is pretty good. Let's look up like if they're coming to town anytime soon." And admittedly, they had a Monday Night Raw at Honda Center
on
coming up
President's Day.
on President's Day,
It's perfect for
and
us.
we got her nephews to come with us, and we were
And my brother.
and your brother, right? My bad. And we were to catch up to the story. I would watch what happened every week. And then Vicky would just be there with her, and I would tell Vicky a lot of what's going on. And then more and more and more, even after Monday Night Raw at the Honda Center, she was getting really interested in it and watching and we both watched like the other kind of shows from the WWE, like Total Divas or
That's a little bit more for me.
yeah,
The reality TV.
I watch it with you too, and just kind of getting into the social of like a lot of the wrestlers too. And it all culminated when WrestleMania 40 this year, when we were watching it at her nephew's house, and we were all at the edge of the seat at the night two with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, Bloodline Rules, and the whole thing going down. Oh my God, it was beautiful, and I just remember being like, wow, Vicky, this is like another one of those things that Vicky invested herself into because I was interested in, and that was really impactful and meaningful for me. And then,
and to tie this along with the theme of love language, how I like to give gifts.
yeah,
And then I think I got you New Japan wrestling tickets.
you did.
For your graduation
Yeah.
gift. And you really like that. That's very intense, by the way, for anyone who wants to go to New Japan. Like,
New Japan Pro Wrestling, that organization is
it's a lot.
that's
It's
next level.
entertaining, but it's
You take the
Nuts.
entertainment. You take the entertainment from WWE and you kind of lessen it, and then put more wrestling in it. And it was fun.
Wow.
But yeah.
I loved it.
But-
But I'm actually doing something wrong. I'm doing you a disservice because even though that was so impactful for me, objectively or subjectively, the most impactful thing you've done for me was be there at every one of my surgeries.
oh yeah.
So context: I've had 3 surgeries on my wrist, on my wrist, because of a recurring and a really aggressive, benign, thankfully, tumor that was, in short, destroying my hand. And I had to get invasive surgery each time it came back, and it came back 3 times. The first time Vicky was there, but it just was on a bad time because she was leaving for Hawaii,
Yeah.
and
It was for it was for a family event.
yeah, it was
that
for a
was
family.
booked for like a year.
Yeah. It was just really bad.
But I was there for the surgery.
But Vic, you were there for the surgery. You watched me wake up. You know, we cried together as you left. Man, that was so sad. And you left for Hawaii, and I would keep in touch with you as I was recovering, right? Then the second time came around, you know, it was a quicker surgery. Thankfully, I went to sleep, got up, they already cut me open, and they're like, oh, you're good to go. And then Vicky took me home. And then the third one was a bit more difficult. I was struggling to fall asleep while they were operating on me, so they just gave me more anesthesia. So that really messed me up when I was waking up. And Vicky was there for every second that like I was coming to, because I was really, really messed up.
Yeah.
Vicky even kind of stayed later than she should.
Yeah.
That night when I woke up, they tried to kick her out, and she's like, okay. She walked away, then she turned around and to help me out. And you know, not only being there, but just emotionally, when I would tell her, like, as I have this sausage wrapped around my arm, like, Vicky, this is the worst thing I've ever gone through. Yeah. This is so tough. I was I was doing this earlier. I had this going for me, but now I'm bedridden because I got this tumor that don't go away. That won't
Definitely
go away.
speaks to emotional support.
Right?
Yeah.
And Vicky was there for me every single time. She was there in this, not in the surgery room. She was there when I was recovering. She took me to the surgery. She took me to when I was getting surgery. You know, she
More
was
acts of service.
She was talking to me. She was
service.
hearing me out when I was telling her, "Man, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks on another level." And she was there for each one of it. And I could never. There's nothing I could ever do that can repay that.
Well, you never know in the future. Knock on wood.
More life ahead.
There's more. We have so much more life to
so
live,
much
Coy.
Well, I mean, I hope she never has to go through any kind of surgery like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's elective surgery, you know? Yeah.
I don't know. If we get elective surgery, I'm gonna want stay tuned.
We'll see. Anyway, to kind of close our conversation, though, you know, as we said, you never know what may happen in the future. Do you guys think that your love languages would ever change in the future?
Ooh, no.
No.
You don't think so?
Short, no. I think I would still like hugs when I'm 70. I think I would still very much love hugs when I'm 90. I'm pretty sure by then I would have hopefully been a lot more in touch with my emotional side. You know, being able to effectively tell people what I'm going through and being able to support people when they're telling me their issues that they're going through. And probably because by the time I'm 70, we've probably been together for about maybe 87 years by then. That's the math, you know? If we're still kicking around that time, hopefully.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that amount of time together, you're learning some new tricks probably. You're probably mastering a skill, and maybe that skill is being able to express your emotion and things that trouble you effectively, as well as being able to provide help for others. So I feel like by then, I don't think my love languages will change. It might be a little nuanced, right? She might prefer one love language this day, or depending on the situation, it's this, right? Well, I feel like for me, I might say this now, but I think I might be pretty consistent on the love languages that I will receive and give to Vicky.
Yeah, I don't think mine's been changing. You know why? Because that's also the love language I like receiving, like with my family and at school as well. Like whenever my students like clean up the desk or clean up the carpet, it's the best thing ever.
Great point.
Like I don't care about clovers on the grass.
Yeah.
Please just clean your desk.
Right. That's actually a good point. Love languages isn't entirely exclusive to people in relationships.
Yeah.
It can be just platonic relationships, platonic. It could just be like a peer to teacher relationship too. You know, and I think communicating that with whoever you're working with, that you're going to be spending time with, it might not even be an intimate relationship, but just something.
We can say it in short, as in like love language is expressing love to each other, right? But expanding on it, it's expressing care, concern, you know,
absolutely
affection.
Yeah. Jane has the better one. I was just gonna keep going on if you let me.
But yeah, those was fun.
That was fun. Thanks for having. I would love to come again. That was a lot easier than I expected.
We're cash
Yeah.
here. We're cash.
Very casual.
Maybe it's the sun. You know, the sun was out. The sun wasn't out when I was doing it my first time, so I was struggling.
Sun, all I see are studio
Summer's
lights.
coming, dude.
But
Which is why you should apply to Hope Summer School.
it's gonna be a splash.
But yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having us.
You'll see us still working here at hUH Community Services, and you can catch us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give us Hope OC. Catch our podcast here on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. I don't know who listens to the podcast on Spotify, but
I do.
oh, I will say there's a significant more amount of YouTube viewers than there are Spotify listeners.
I play it from both Spotify and YouTube.
Fantastic.
Wow.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Stay safe.